When stress hits, how do you react? What signals does your body give you to let you know that you're stressed? And what do you do about it? In this video, I'm going to share with you the first essential step that we need to take in order to mitigate stress. And I'm going to share with you a key thing that we often miss in the process, but that is an essential step in dealing with stress. Now, before I get into that, I invite you to hit the bell icon and be notified when I post a new video every week. So how do you notice when you are stressed? There are definitely a lot of common signals that our bodies give us, but they're also individual for each person. So you might start to experience sweating palms. You might experience some tightness or constriction in your chest or your abdomen. Your heart may start to beat faster. You may lose your appetite. You may get a headache or a sore stomach. Your shoulders or neck might start to feel really tense. You might start to feel agitated and just this tense feeling kind of in your brain. I share these sensations with you so that you can start to really recognize and tune into what are those signals that your body gives you when you start to feel stress. Because the first step in dealing with stress is recognizing what that sensation is in our bodies so that we can tune into it quickly and not let it get to the point where we're starting to snap because the stress has mounted so high. So take a moment right now and really tune into what does stress feel like in your body when it starts, when the onset of stress is building. Now, this is a really critical step, but it's also one that's really easy to dismiss because we often think, well, I feel stressed when I'm stressed. Like, let's get on with the solution. Tell me how I can resolve it. But this is part of the solution because the more intimately we can get connected with the signals that our body's telling us, the better we can be at starting to resolve them when they're at the early stages rather than when we're already spiraling downward. So I hope you've taken a moment to consider what your body feels like when it's stressed. And the next question I have for you is, when you start to feel that stress, what do you do about it? What actions do you take? Now, many people may respond, well, I just keep going. I feel stressed when I have a lot on my plate and I feel like I'm not going to feel calm until I get all these things done. And you get into this really fast movement and you just feel like you need to keep going and going and going. And this is totally normal because we often feel stressed when we have a lot of things to do or we have a timeline or some sort of pressure that we're under to get something done and it doesn't feel right to take a break. It just feels like we should keep going. But when we're at this place of feeling pressure and this need to rush, then our energy is no longer flowing, it's actually starting to stagnate, and this impacts our productivity, and our productivity actually decreases at this point. And when we're experiencing stress, what happens is our bodies get into our primal brain. So we get into that fight or flight response mode. And we feel like either we just need to keep going and go faster and faster and keep pushing and pressure, or we may start to feel aggressive and we may snap at a coworker or spouse or child. And when this happens, when we get into this stress state and we're in our primal brain, then we're not able to focus our attention as well on the needs of others because we're just internally focused on what we feel needs to get done so that we can feel better. Out of our rational brain and into our primal brain, it makes logical thinking really difficult, which is why these outbursts and reactions sometimes just feel like they come out of nowhere, which is another reason that we want to start addressing stress before we get to this outburst stage. Also, understanding what's happening in our brain when we are undergoing stress is helpful because it helps us have compassion and grace for ourselves. Because when we're stressed, we're not in our logical brain and we're not doing things in the way that we would normally do it in a calm state. And this is helpful to remember so that you don't have to beat yourself up for how you act when you're stressed. While it's not something that we want to do, it is a reaction that sometimes takes place. So that's the first thing. And then it's also helpful to know that there are some really quick and easy things that we can do when we're starting to experience stress that can lower that stress right down. And this is going to take some practice because you're going to want to keep going and pushing and moving and going and going. But it's helpful to take a moment here and remind yourself that if you just take a couple minutes, you can calm down, you can interact better with others, you can ensure that both your needs and others' needs are met, and you can also be more productive in the long run. But I'm going to share the quickest and easiest one that I know, and that is just taking a few moments to slow down your breathing and breathe fully and deeply into your body. So deep breathing can look a few different ways. In the simplest form, it is just breathing deeply and slowly for a couple minutes. So I invite you to do this along with me. I'm going to show you deep breathing can just look something like this. Just taking deep breaths, expanding your lungs, breathing into your abdomen, and then exhaling slowly, very slowly, out through your mouth, letting the air just flow out. And just doing that for a few cycles. A more advanced breathing technique is to do breathing on specific counts. So for example, breathing in for a count of 5, holding that breath for 3, and then exhaling out for 7 seconds, so that your exhale is longer than your inhale. And before you start this, you might just want to take a few deep breaths just to get your lungs used to breathing in deeply, and then go into the deep breathing cycle, which could look something like this. So you can count in your head or use your fingers, but either way, you're just breathing in for 5 seconds, holding it for 3 seconds without breathing in or out, and then letting the breath flow out of your body for 7 seconds, taking a moment, and then starting the process again. And if you do this for about 10 cycles, or you can watch your timer for about 2 minutes, then that's all it takes to get your body into a calmer state. Breathing works so well is because you're slowing down your breathing and you're taking in a lot of air. And what this does is it signals to your brain that there is nothing to fear. There's no danger that's lurking around the corner that's going to pounce on you. When we get stressed and when we start to fear, then we start to breathe shallow and we start to breathe really fast. We're able to calm things down. It gives all those signals that, oh, you're breathing calmly and you're breathing deeply, so there's no way that you can be stressed. There's nothing to worry about. So I'm just going to calm down. And that's what your brain is thinking, that I can just calm down and relax. And it puts you into that relaxation mode for your body as well. Okay, but what if you're not by yourself and the reason that you're starting to feel stressed is because of your interaction with another person? Then how do you deal with that situation? It might feel kind of weird to just start deep breathing all of a sudden if you're in the middle of a conversation or disagreement. So what I recommend here is if you're in a conversation with an adult or a teenager or an older child who understands, you can just say, hey, I'm feeling a lot of stress right now. I'm starting to feel a lot of tension, whatever those languages, just to mention how you're feeling, and then say, I just really want to take a couple minutes. Maybe you want to say, I want to go calm down, or I just want to breathe for a few minutes, and then I'll come back. It helps to bring the whole situation down because it gives you both a few minutes to just contemplate and, get out of that reaction mode, and then it allows you to then lower your stress so that you're also, again, getting out of reaction mode and you're able to get back into your rational and logical brain, and then you can think about, okay, how do I want to deal with this? What are the next steps I want to do? How can I deal with this from a place of love and compassion, considering what the other person may be experiencing and also what I'm experiencing, and that to remember that there's no blame, nobody's wrong in this, there's two people coming together, and there is a way to resolve it if we come to thinking from a place of love and compassion. What if you're dealing with a younger kid who isn't really that rational and they're just gonna destroy the house if you go away for 2 minutes? I had this come up the other night where my daughter was super overtired, and when she gets overtired, she gets crazy and she likes to break things, make messes. Maybe some of you have experienced this. So she was like throwing food on the floor, she was trying to throw plates, she was trying to make messes anywhere she could. And I was starting to feel a lot of stress, especially because I myself was feeling somewhat sleep deprived. And that is the biggest trigger for me to experience stress. So in order to lower things down in those moments where you can't just leave because your kid is gonna, create a disaster zone or could potentially hurt themselves, then the best thing to do is to just tell yourself, love, love, love. Try to get that feeling of love as much as you can into you, even though you're feeling stressed, and then just try to bring that energy to the child. If they're the type of child that deals well with a hug or just coming in, you can do that and just say, I notice that, you're, whatever it is that that child is feeling, whether they're feeling angry or sad or upset or stressed or just heightened energy, you can say that and just say, let's both calm down together. And if they're old enough, you can even say, do you want to try this with mommy? Do you want to try this? We can breathe together to calm both of ourselves down. When you can come from that place of love, it's another way to kind of lower your stress because you're getting out of reaction mode. You're trying to calm the energies around you so that you're not reacting at each other and starting to yell at each other. Instead, you're like, okay, calm down. How can I bring love to this? And if your child doesn't react well with coming and doing something physical, maybe just trying to sit beside them, get so that you're face to face and they can see you, and just say the same type of thing, like, let's try and calm down together. Maybe you can ask them some questions about, what do you think we could do to calm down together? Maybe you just want to lightly, hold their hands to let them know that you're here for them and you want to try and calm down. So just try to get that into your brain. And if you really need to step away for a moment to calm down, that is totally okay too. If you just need to step away, do some deep breathing so that you can come back and be with that child from a loving place, then that is totally okay too, as long as obviously you've ensured that they are safe as well. When my child, she gets in this mode and then she follows me around, and so I know that even though she's reacting, she still wants that connection with me. And when I can create that moment of connection, it just brings the whole situation down. So there's something to try if you are experiencing that stress coming from a younger child. So to sum up, when we're experiencing stress, we're not the only ones experiencing it, right? It affects those around us. So we want to do this lowering of stress for ourselves so that we can feel better, we can increase our productivity, we can interact better with others, but also so that we can calm down the whole environment that we're in, and so that we're not then putting our stress onto other people and kind of creating that tense environment, because nobody wants to create that or be in that environment. I really encourage you and invite you to just try it out the next time that you start to feel some stress, and really try to do it at that early stage when you're starting to feel those first few triggers of stress. And secondly, I also invite you to mentally rehearse this and practice it in your mind. Now, this may seem like a strange concept, but the thing is when we feel stressed, we're feeling agitated, then it's really easy to go back into our reactions and our habits. And what we're trying to do by doing a mental rehearsal of how we want to react is triggering that into our brain that, oh, when we feel stressed, we don't need to go to these habits where we're yelling or whatever. Instead, we have this other avenue that we can go to. And by mentally rehearsing it, it creates the pathways for our brain to think about different options. And our brains work really well with visualizations, because when we're thinking something in pictures, then for our brain, that is just as real as whatever we are doing in real life. So it starts to create those pathways for us to take action in a different way. So I really encourage you just to take a few moments of imagine yourself going through a stressful situation and taking a few moments to go do some deep breathing to calm your whole nervous system down. And you'll be amazed that the next time that you start to feel that, that'll be so much easier to take that break and do those deep breathing than if you don't do these mental rehearsals. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video and you've found the strategies that I've shared with you to be useful and that you're willing to try them out. Also, if you want more strategies on how to deal with stress both in the short term and to create a longer term place of calm in your body, then I have a free gift for you. I have created an ebook that is all about how to bust your stress and how to instigate calming practices into your day on a regular basis, and also in those moments when stress just hits. So you can download your copy below. The link is in the comment section. So check it out, and I hope that you get a lot out of it. And before you go, I would love to see your comments and let me know if you are excited to try the deep breathing exercises that I've shared with you and which one is most intriguing to you. Or if you've tried deep breathing for stress reduction in the past, let me know how that's gone for you and what your experience was. And if you like this video, please press the like button. I hope you subscribe to see more great videos, and also share it with your friends, because couldn't we all use less stress in our lives? I think so. Have a great week and see you in the next video.